Hello everyone and welcome back to For the Watch. If this is your first time coming across my channel, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe if you like the vibe and hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Today we are going to be going over the latest episode of From Season 3, Episode 7 called These Fragile Lives. Okay guys, let's get into this episode, okay? The episode starts off with Fatima at the clinic with her family, and Christy tries to explain to her that even with her weird cravings, it could be that her body is exhibiting signs of a psychosomatic pregnancy, okay? So it's a rare condition in which your body believes you're pregnant. But Christy did make sure to mention that, this would be her prognosis if they were anywhere else but Fromville, all right? So anyway, Fatima tells them that she knows she's pregnant, okay? It's still there. I can feel it. So, of course, she's very frustrated and she just wants to get out of there and go the freak home, okay? So, after she lashes out, her and Ellis leave and Marielle follows behind them because she wants to start an IV on Fatima later on, okay? Now, this leaves Boyd and Christy alone. So now Christy tells Boyd that he should have warned her about the situation before she did the ultrasound. So she's upset with Boyd, which I didn't understand, and apparently Boyd didn't get it either because he lets her know that it wasn't his place to do that, which is true, I don't care where you are, Fromville, the Needville, whatever. Patient privacy is always important, okay? And Christy, of all people, should know that, all right? She needs to uphold her Hippocratic oath and all that good stuff. Whatever doctors need to be doing, that's what she need to be doing, okay? Now, Christy tells Boyd that she could have used that info before the exam, and she can't help if she's in the dark. So Boyd is like, oh, okay, you want to yell at me? Fine. But let's figure out what we're going to do once you're done yelling at me. So Christy says, I don't know what we're going to do. She either has something growing inside of her that we can't see, or this place has finally gotten to her head. So Boyd says, okay, how do we figure out which one it is? And then how do we freaking help her? All right. And when Christy says, I don't know, Boyd hits her with the, then do your freaking job and figure it out, all right? And I am always here for the Boyd spaz outs, guys. I really am. I freaking love them, all right? As long as he doesn't take them too far, I'm totally good with them. Because to be honest, in this situation, I really was annoyed with Christy. You're going to hear me say that I was annoyed with a few characters in the episode, and that's totally fine. It's no big deal, right? But I was annoyed with her because I was just like, girl, you're saying that being in the dark causes you to basically not be able to do your job properly, but you're in Fromville. Your job is going to definitely be compromised because you're dealing with supernatural forces, my dear. So you're in the dark all the time, okay? Let's just be real about this situation. So there was nothing that Boyd could have done. Literally, girl, if he would have came in and told you the situation, what difference would it have made? What was you going to do? Lie to her? Come on now. Ugh. Anyway, guys, next, Victor is in his room yelling at Jasper and telling him that he needs to talk to him. So Henry comes in to tell Victor that what he's doing is unhealthy. I heard you yelling at that thing all night, and I heard you from downstairs. So Victor says, I need him to talk to me. But Henry reminds Victor that Jasper is just a doll. And Victor is like, listen, you don't understand. You weren't there. And he takes Jasper and leaves the room, okay? So I definitely like to say that Henry telling Victor that Jasper is just a doll is so insane because nothing should be unbelievable at this point. I mean, Henry, have you seen this place? There are magic trees, creepy tunnels, and you can't go outside at night because of the night creatures who like to smile in your face, talk calm to you in a therapist-like voice, then rip you apart when they get too close, okay? So a talking doll is nothing, all right? Next, Fatima tells Ellis that she doesn't understand why no one will listen to her. Why is my point of view the only one that doesn't matter? After all, it's happening inside of her body, right? So Ellis really doesn't know what to do. So he asked her, what do you want me to do? So Fatima simply says, just believe me. She then goes to tell him that her body is changing and that she knows something is growing inside of her. She even takes measurements of her stomach to prove it. But the bottom line, guys, is that Fatima is trying to get through to Ellis that if there's no baby growing inside of her, then it's me, right? Like basically, I'm the issue, I'm the problem, right? That's how I took that statement, okay? Now next, Boyd talks to Donna about what's going on with Fatima, and she tells Boyd that she doesn't think it's a good idea for Ellis and Fatima to stay at Colony House while they're, trying to figure the situation out. Her argument is that there are two possible things that could be happening to Fatima, and each possibility poses a different kind of threat, right, to the people at Colony House. And, Donna's main concern is preventing Fatima from becoming Abby 2.0 and hurting or killing the other people in the house. So as hard as this is for Boyd to hear, he does understand, but it still has to be difficult for him, right? Okay, guys, so next, Elgen goes off exploring alone, and this is something that I really hate for characters to do. Anything could have happened, okay? The secret door that led to the secret room he found could have been mysteriously shut on him. Then he would have been locked in there with nobody knowing where he was, leaving himself to be available prey for the night creatures. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. But don't mind my rant, guys, because thankfully nothing happens, okay? Well, not nothing, but, he did find a dead body, and he came face to face with the creepy dead lady who claims that she can save him. And that was the last of Elgen for the rest of the episode, I believe, okay? Now, next, Julie and Randall, they walk through the woods because Randall is on a mission to find a mushroom that grows in the cold. So the strange thing to me about this conversation was how Julie pretty much explains to Randall what's going on with her parents, right? But she explains both of her parents' plights as if she was front and center with Tabitha and Jim as they expressed their feelings in the previous scene. That was kind of weird to me, not important, I guess, but it was just something that I noticed. So just to be clear, I'm talking about the scene before this one where Tabitha and Jim are at the settlement and she is trying to explain to him her dream. And he's like, listen, it was just a nightmare or whatever. She's like, no, it wasn't. It was reoccurring for months. Okay, this definitely means something. I have to find out what's going on and what it is. I have to look into it. Okay. And he was telling her, he didn't want her to try to go crazy, get involved in no more other stuff, because the last time he tried to do something to save the town, he went down a rabbit hole and it almost got everybody killed. Okay. So Julie basically in the next scene explains everything that the parents were saying in the previous episode. She explains it all to Randall. And I was like, that was freaking strange. Okay. But anyway, next, Kenny tries to explain to Officer Dcosta that she is not the only one that when they first got to this place, they thought they would figure everything out, Okay, guys, let me pause really quickly and just let you know that I am going to be referring to Officer Acosta as Officer Dcosta throughout this whole video. So please, I apologize. I'm still learning folks' names, okay? He tells her that he's had this conversation before and eventually you're going to learn to adjust or you're just going to lose your mind, So pick a number, sister, because you ain't special. So anyway, they start getting better acquainted and Dcosta makes a comment about how Boyd is a D and he thinks he's God King of the world. So Kenny tries to defend Boyd and tells her that she didn't meet Boyd under the best circumstances, to be fair, right? But Dcosta clearly wasn't in the best headspace to receive this, okay? She's just too upset about Boyd taking her gun, and she's upset about the fact that she's going to have to live with killing Nikki for the rest of her life, And most importantly, she wants out of this place, But who doesn't? Like I said, take a number, girl. At this point, though, I am wondering if Dcosta will lose her mind eventually, because she's coming into this place, and by this place I'm talking about Fromville, and she has the nerve to like flash her badge to Boyd, like that's supposed to mean something here. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you get to this place, your occupation, it doesn't matter, girl, unless you possess some type of skill that will contribute to the survival of the community. It really doesn't matter what you did, you know? And once again, another character that got on my nerves, you know, in this episode, right? She got on my nerves because she just came off like real antagonistic, you know? And her demanding Boyd to give her gun back was ridiculous to me. But she obviously just needs some time adjusting to this place, okay? Now, if not, I wouldn't have an issue seeing her end up like Dale, because, you know, she is carrying his spirit, all right? Now, anyway, guys, I was glad that Boyd gave her the gun back without the bullets, but the petty part of me wanted Boyd to spaz on her, okay? Like, I really wanted him to lose it on her. Not put his hands on her or nothing, but just spaz on her, you know? Like, girl, he did tell her to get out, you know, but she really, like, she's coming in there with that cop energy, right? And there's no offense to any officers out there, but there are plenty of police officers that are very arrogant, and they just take their, I guess, authority a little too serious, to the point where they just think they're God, king of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think she's kind of jealous too, because she tried to like downplay Boyd's position in the town, you know, basically telling him that she's a real cop. And it's like, well, this is his town, girl. Just get it together, right? Or just forget it forever, because like what you saying, it just don't matter. And you need to like come to grips with it. Like, please, you know? So I would like to say this, though, that the episode is called These Fragile Lives. And at this time, she is definitely fragile, you know, especially when it comes to her mental. So I'm going to be really looking and keeping a close eye out on this chick. Now, I'm not sure if she's going to survive. I mean, when Randall first came, I couldn't stand him, and I didn't think he was going to survive. And I was just really hoping that the creatures would get at him. But he's rubbing off on me, and I'm cool with him, I guess, you know. But this girl, I don't know, because she's doing the most right now, all right? Next, Henry tells Donna that he had a terrible thought that he'll never forgive himself for. He wished that he never came to this place and that Tabitha never found him, because it was easier when he thought Victor was dead. And listen, guys, I'm sorry that Henry feels this way, but one thing that this place is going to make sure you understand is that life in Fromville ain't easy, all right? As a matter of fact, we're gonna make sure you're tortured, okay? Next, Tabitha explains her nightmares to Jade, Jim, and Ethan while on the settlement. And I can't lie, guys, I was more concerned with whatever is out there at night, because there's definitely something roaming around on the settlement at night, okay? We heard Kenny tell Boyd about it in a few episodes before this, and earlier in this episode, one of the people who came to collect the food with Jim, she mentioned that whatever it was roaming in the night and banging around, it doesn't sound like a night creature from the town, okay? So at this point, I'm just curious to see these other creatures, you know? And don't get me wrong, guys, we don't need to add another threat to the citizens of Fromville, but they've brought these mysterious things up a few times in the dialogue already, okay? Plus, various characters keep mentioning how creepy the settlement is. So now I want to know, all right? But anyway, back to Tabitha's dream. Jade is convinced that Tabitha was destined to come to Fromville if she was having dreams about the place as a child, okay? Next, Tilly comes to check on Ellis, and he gives her an update on Fatima after she asked. So he let Tilly know that there's no baby. So there's only two possible reasons, right? We already know what the two possible reasons are. We're not going to go through them again. He tells Tilly that he cannot lose Fatima. But Tilly tries to encourage him when she talks about life, you know, all that good stuff she was saying. But it doesn't help when Ellis hears Fatima screaming in pain, okay, from her room. He runs to the room and nothing seems to be wrong. But before he got there, guys, we saw Fatima's stomach being sucked in, making it look like she was about to turn into a freaking skeleton or something, okay? So next, Ellis goes to the clinic and tries to take these pill bottles to give to Fatima. But Christy tells Ellis that the pills could make things a lot worse, so please give them back. So Boyd comes in and makes Ellis give the pills back. Then Ellis storms off. Boyd chases after him and finds out that Ellis is scared and confused, okay? He tells his father that he saw the worms in his arms. He saw what happened to his mother. And now Fatima is falling apart right in front of his very eyes, and he doesn't know how to help her. So Boyd hugs him, and Ellis says, "Dad, please don't let this happen." And that's a lot of pressure to put on Boyd, you know what I'm saying? But I can only imagine that the way Boyd is, he would rack his brain trying to figure out a way to help, all right? But poor Ellis, guys, I really feel bad for him. Next, while driving to who knows where, Randall sees the bugs that have been bugging him ever since that terrible time he was tortured, during the sleep spell. So he gets out of the van, tells Julie to go home, and walks into the woods. So Julie does the opposite, and she follows him. And when they get to an area with these large arched stones, Julie feels something. Maybe it was a force or a presence, but whatever it was, she wanted to check it out. And that really annoyed me, okay, guys? Like, it annoyed me because I didn't think that it was a safe choice. In fact, I believe it was reckless thinking, right? So I'm glad that Randall had sense enough to stop her and say, let's get the heck up out of here, all right? And guys, you know what? As I'm looking at these carved stones or whatever they are, right? I'm like, why does this place look so familiar? So I do realize that I probably have to go back to watch previous seasons and things like that, because there's some things that are like, a little bit forgotten. But I'm remembering that Boyd was actually in this place as well, but I can't make all of the connections. So you guys can help me out with that as well. But I know that this place is very familiar and we've seen it before. Next, we get to the last scene where Donna's fear has come to pass. This was also Ellis's fear, okay? So Fatima is getting ready to eat her rotten crops, but decides against it. But then she starts having pain, and Tilly shows up to try to help her and let Fatima know that she's not alone. But Fatima tells Tilly to go away, and when she doesn't, she stabs Tilly dead, okay, guys? And in comes Ellis to see Tilly die on the floor. Now, before dying, Tilly tells Fatima that she needs to run. Now, I don't really know what to say about this, guys, except that I feel really bad for Fatima and Ellis. Like, I really do. They were like the happiest people in Fromville, and now they're really feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, Ellis, he already had his fair share of hell, okay? But Fatima, she came and she brought him happiness. And now that all this is happening, I just feel bad, especially for their mental states. So that was the episode, guys. We're going to see what happens. This is episode 7. So I think it's going up to 10 episodes, right? So that means we've got 8, 9, 10. We've got 3 left. What is going to happen? Are we going to get any answers? I mean, because as far as the whole thing with Tabitha being the chosen one, I don't think I care. Like, the only reason why I'm saying this is because I just feel like we're not really getting answers. We're just getting like little pieces of the puzzle, and the pieces of the puzzle are just like, they're so scattered, right? To the point where we can't even tell what the picture is yet, right? If you follow me. So it's not exciting at all. But once again, this is still a great show. I'm still here for the ride, and I'm holding on, guys. But R.I.P. to Tilly. I want to say she was a real one, but she was kind of weird as well. No disrespect to her, but she was a little bit on the weird side. She's bringing tarot cards into the place, and it's like, I don't know if you want to do that, girl. This don't seem like the right place, But anyway, One thing I do want to mention is the fact that she said she had cancer. So I don't know if something went over my head, but I was of the understanding that she was diagnosed and she beat cancer when she was telling Fatima the story. But I guess she still had cancer. So in a way, this might sound a little crazy, guys, but Fatima might have done her a favor, right? Because they don't have the stuff that they need in Fromville for this woman to really be comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, she would have been suffering, you know, in her last days. So a quick death, you know, is probably the best she could ask for in a place like that without being devoured by the night creatures. So that's what I have to say about that. And I promise I'm not trying to be mean about it. But I do think that it's sad what happened to her, especially the fact that Fatima was the one that did it, okay? Because this is going to be pretty bad for Fatima, which is why Tilly probably told her to run. Because it's like, girl, folks is going to be treating you just like how they was treating Sarah, okay? So it's not like you could be outcasted, you know what I'm saying? Or excommunicated or exiled, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And hit that notification bell so you know when I upload more videos like this one. Until next time, take care and be blessed. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.